maybe I'm free to be who I really am and to be honest about who I want to be with.
Secrets are coming out on this week's episode of Marvel's Runaways, so let's break down episode 6 right here on What Happened. How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another Runaways recap all about the episode titled Metamorphosis. So in this episode, we get to see some characters deal with some pretty big realizations about themselves and others, while the rest of the gang, they kind of have some secrets come out. And then there's that mysterious dude, Jonah. This episode does confirm that Karolina is Jonah's daughter, and the reason that Frank was given the serum, it was to erase his memory because once he walked in on Leslie and Jonah getting it on in that private meditation room many years ago. When Jonah decides to keep an eye on the Pride at their fundraiser, Frank sees Jonah's face and his memories start to come back, which isn't good. Probably mostly for Frank, knowing what everyone else is capable of. In this episode, the love triangle, or maybe love square, pentagon, I don't really know at this point, is still in effect as we see Karolina struggle with her feelings for Nico, Chase finally make a move on Karolina, while Gert is still pining over Chase, and then you have Alex and Nico who are still together. Nico, however, begins to get a little suspicious of Alex when he so easily knows the passcode to her mom's high-tech office. And remember how last episode we learned that Victor had brain cancer, or has brain cancer? Well, the mysterious and powerful Jonah fixes that, and everyone also learns of Robert and Janet's affair, and Dale swipes the other half of the vial of Jonah's special concoction with his DNA in it that can cure things like cancer. So let's dive a little more in depth into this recap. In this episode, we begin 15 years ago once again to see the very first Pride sacrifice. We have Jonah giving Catherine and Jeffrey his old home, the one they live in now. And at the first ceremony, everyone complains about those itchy red robes. We get to see Molly's parents. Frank isn't there, and Tina and Leslie, they're the only two who actually kind of know what's going on at the ceremony, while the others freak out to learn that they probably just killed a kid. Unfortunately for them, they've already accepted all the gifts from Jonah, plus he has them on camera with that little hidden camera, so they're pretty much screwed for making a deal with the devil. They also learn that the box pretty much puts the sacrifice into a form of energy or something that can be absorbed by a body, and so that soul lives on in another. Or in other words, those youths end up keeping Jonah alive and looking a little younger. In the present day, Jonah really wants to attend the Pride School fundraiser, meet his daughter, but Leslie doesn't think it's a good idea. But there's really no stopping Jonah. For two of the kids, their parents have actually taken a turn for the better, while Alex still expresses his distrust to Jeffrey throughout the episode. We've seen Victor and Chase getting along, and that continues in this episode as they kind of make a plan to work together to repair Chase's fistigons. We also kind of learn what may be making Victor play Mr. Nice Guy as of lately. He's been hacking into Janet and Robert's cell phones, and he does know about that affair. For Nico, Tina gives her a little training with that staff of one, and she's so excited to kind of be bonding with her mom. And we learn that the staff was built in the wizard lab with some kind of unparalleled technology, which of course means it probably was made with an assist from Jonah. Now, it was made so that it only responds to Tina's DNA, so when Nico uses the staff, it essentially thinks Tina's using the staff. Like the comics, the staff still works off blood, but it's not in the same sense. In the comics, Nico used to have to cut herself with a knife or shed blood in order to make the staff work, and while that's still a little bit true, the staff in the show turns on with just a prick of blood from the finger, so it's a little more friendly. Tina also knows that Nico has Amy's diary, and she's also ready to kind of make things work with Robert once again, but little does she know he's ready to make that move out from her with Janet. For Karolina, she's still trying to get answers to who or what she is by looking through her grandpa's drawings, which are of the people that glow like her. She also has a conversation with Frank, who seems to be questioning himself, everything he knows, and it sounds like he may need a break from the church to find himself after failing to go ultra. Karolina also asks why he's not part of Pride, and Frank just says that he doesn't know, but it always seemed like Leslie's thing. As for the fundraiser, the kids meet and plan to all go together in a limo, and that's where they are going to hack into the wizard servers to get the hard evidence of what their parents have done. We do see Nico and Chase a tad hesitant at first to agree to the plan, but eventually all the teens are in it together. Before heading to the fundraiser, Nico goes over to Karolina's to get ready, and there we really see Karolina struggle with who she is, being honest with herself and her feelings for Nico. Just as Karolina is talking about how she now feels free to be who she is and honest about who she wants to be with, and she makes some eye contact with Nico, Molly and Gert enter the party and just kill the whole vibe, so Karolina never finishes what she was going to say to Nico or what she was going to do. Gert seems to notice what was going on though, even though she does give stink eye to Karolina and Chase in that limo on the way to the fundraiser. Fun fact, we get our Stan Lee cameo in this episode as the limo driver.
We're here.
So Gert is still jealous, obviously, of Chase liking Karolina, so she confronts Karolina flat out, asking if she has feelings for Nico, and if she does, then, Gert's like, I totally support it. What sucks here is that Gert actually isn't being a real friend that's trying to help Karolina figure out, who she is and support her in that way. Gert ends up having some pretty selfish intentions, which we know, and it throws Karolina off, and she's not ready to then open up and be true to herself, and instead she snaps back with, oh, you want me to, tell you that I like Nico because you want to be with Chase, and you can be with Chase. And she basically just sees how thirsty Gert is. Now, of course, Gert tries to play it off like she doesn't have feelings for Chase, but it's kind of just cringy to watch them both go around this runaround, mainly with Gert. After that encounter, Karolina ends up deciding to drink away her issues with a bottle of cheap vodka on the roof. Chase follows her up there and tries to talk Karolina off the ledge of the roof that she's sitting on, but Karolina ends up falling off, and when Chase goes to grab her, the bracelet rips off, but it's a good thing because we see that Karolina can fly. Yeah, not only does she glow, she shoots out energy or light, she can also fly. Pretty badass, right? When she makes it back onto the roof, Chase, he's kind of invigorated by this near-death experience, and he finally decides to make a move and show Karolina how he feels, and he kisses her. Meanwhile, he doesn't see that Karolina's totally not feeling this kiss. Sorry, Chase. Meanwhile, Molly is worried she'll never get information about her parents from Catherine if the kid's plan works to expose the parents. So she spends the whole party stalking and texting Catherine, waiting for answers. Alex and Nico head to the server room to try to find the server that the camera is uploading to, and they find it, but they learn that there's no plug for their computer, so they have to go with plan B. And they use Gert, of all people, to flirt with security, and it works though because the security guard's pretty much a nerd. They head up to Tina's office, and the keycard Nico has doesn't unlock Tina's office, but Alex pretty quickly types in the password and the door opens. Nico then activates the desk or the computer, whatever high-tech thing this is, with her DNA just like the staff, and they begin to copy the files. Meanwhile, at the party, the members of the Pride are wondering why Jonah is there and kind of think that he must not trust them. Frank ends up seeing Jonah, and his memories of walking in on Jonah and Leslie at some point in the past come back, so he continues to give Jonah that stink eye throughout the entire episode. When the Pride get on stage to give their speech, Victor ends up having another one of his bad headaches due to his brain cancer, and Tina takes it as a sign, hey, let's just hand the guy the microphone, he has something to say, right? But that was a bad idea on Tina's part because, Victor turns back into a dick and pretty much calls out Robert and Janet for their affair before he hits the ground passing out. And I feel bad for him because no one bothers to run up and help him except for Chase. Everybody else just kind of stares or walks away. The news of the affair causes Tina to go up to her office kind of unexpectedly, but thankfully Gert warns Alex and Nico and they hide out. And it's kind of heartbreaking to see Tina bawling her eyes out and knowing that Nico is right in that same room and she actually wants to comfort her mom, but she can't. Chase ends up telling his mom about the brain cancer and they're trying to figure out how they can help Victor, and that's when Jonah comes to the rescue. They make Chase leave, and Jonah pulls out a vial from his black bag of some experimental immunotherapy developed from his own DNA. Now he injects half of this into Victor and hands the vial with the other half into Dale to put back in his bag, but Dale has other plans. He decides to pocket that. Then Victor's magically cured and has a new lease on life, and we see him give a group hug to Janet and Chase when he finds them. Alex and Nico return to the fundraiser, and Alex talks about how it feels a little weird that they now have the hard evidence that their parents are killers because it felt different when it was all just theories and hypothetical. Nico then asks Alex what the code to Tina's office was, and he says it was actually just the word password because he thought she'd be so busy, she'd want something easy to remember, and who would ever think that the creator of such a huge, powerful tech company would use the word password as her password. He says he just got lucky, but Nico, she kind of looks suspicious of him and goes, yeah, really lucky. Chase then meets up with them and tells them that Karolina can fly and that Robert and Janet are having an affair, so now Nico knows just why her mother was breaking down. Jonah does end up getting to meet Karolina. She's trying to leave the fundraiser, and it's a kind of pretty awkward scene. He just says that he's one of Leslie's old friends. Frank then shows up though and gives Jonah his death stare, and as they're about to part ways, Jonah then decides he's going to alleviate the situation, so he tells Frank he's a big fan and loves his movies, but he admires his work with the church more. And then Frank's like, oh, maybe the church isn't for me, I didn't go ultra, all this, but Jonah has something interesting to say about that. He tells Frank he actually did go ultra, he just didn't know it, and the two walk off together, which Leslie and Dale see, and they're definitely not happy about it. They're like, why are these two together? Frank shouldn't recognize Jonah. So they look pretty worried here. It seems like that serum might, be wearing off. What else? Oh, we have Molly, who pretty much screws everyone over in a sense. Not only does she break the news to Gert that Chase kissed Karolina, but when she finally confronts Catherine about wanting answers about her parents, she lets something else slip. Molly's pretty frantic throughout this whole party, and she feels like she's running out of time because obviously if the kid's plan works, the parents are going to jail, she's never going to get to talk to Catherine about her parents. So Catherine is like, hey, maybe we can just talk in the car, and Molly blurts out that she wants to know about her parents and she didn't see a thing, and then she has to put foot in mouth and cover up what she just said because she just said she didn't see anything, which totally means that she saw something. So after Molly leaves, Catherine tells Jeffrey that she pretty much messed up big time with Molly and that Molly was definitely in the basement and probably saw a lot of things happen. Alright, so Molly pretty much just blew the kids' cover, right? I'm pretty sure Catherine and Jeffrey will be able to put two and two together to know that the kids know something, especially since Alex has been so cold to Jeffrey lately. I kind of fear for Frank now that Jonah has his hands on him, and it's either going to be that Frank gets his memory erased again, or maybe something worse. Plus the way that Nico questioned Alex about the password and, you know, that look of suspicion, it makes me think the show will go on with the twist that they had in the comics and with the same person, but I guess to confirm that, only time will tell. We'll just have to keep watching. Also, now that Molly spilled the beans, will the kids finally now run away? Because in the comics, they ran away pretty quickly after seeing what their parents were doing, and that's how they got the name Runaways for the comics, I'm pretty sure. But on the show, they're moving a little slower, and there's only, I think, 4 episodes left, so things are gonna have to pick up. Someone's gonna have to run away. I'm also glad that they're really exploring Karolina's sexuality and coming to terms with who she is here and not kind of brushing over it, so I'm curious to see how that's going to play out. Like I said, the stakes are now getting high, so if there are only 10 episodes in this season, we only have 4 left to kind of get to that big, you know, cliffhanger, drama, whatever conclusion, so I'm ready for things to really get in full force. And that wraps up this week's recap of Runaways. What did you think of this episode? What do you think Jonah's going to do with Frank? Will Catherine and Jeffrey share the information they learned from Molly with the other parents of the Pride? And what is Dale going to do with that vial of DNA? And Karolina, is she going to come clean with her feelings for Nico, or will she continue to kind of hide it and use Chase, I guess, as her kind of the word beard, right? I don't know. Leave all your thoughts and theories down in the comments below, and then check out more of my recaps and other stuff right over here. I'm Lisa. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe. If not, that's cool too, but I'll see you again real soon, hopefully.